everybody, it's Lauren. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to share 5 things that I wish I knew when I started my health and fitness journey. So if you want to see that, then just keep watching. Now, everything I've learned and the past mistakes that I've made have gotten me to where I am today, but there are a few things in my health and fitness journey that I wish I knew about sooner and implemented and did a little bit differently, which honestly just would have helped me progress faster, would have reduced any pain or any just bad form and having to relearn some things, and would just make me feel better overall. So no matter where you are on your journey, whether you are just beginning or if you've been doing it for years and years and years, consider if these are some things that you could also do a little bit differently to also improve how you feel, again, reduce pain, burnout, and just increase your progress, even if it does require maybe taking a little step back. The first thing I wish I knew back when I started was that you don't need to work out every single day. I was doing a split at the very beginning of my journey of a push-pull leg day, and I was doing that each one of those days 2 times a week. So I was at the gym 6 days a week, and I wasn't just going in for like 45 minutes because I knew I was gonna hit this muscle group again in a few days. I was probably there for like an hour, hour and a half each time, which is just so crazy to think about, since now I'm going for just about an hour 2 times a week, doing full body days and feeling better, having more rest and recovery, and improving my results way more now than I was back at the very beginning of my fitness journey. And I don't have to make the time commitment to go in every single day because it isn't the most realistic, and it does allow me more time to do other things such as yoga. And of course, programming does vary based off of your goals. So if you want to do a split routine because you want to do a competition and you need to get in there more, then that does make sense. But for the average person, and definitely for myself at the time, it was just way too much and definitely not needed. I did at the very beginning have the mindset of a bikini competitor and lifting a lot, but then like dieting down and was in this like constant state of like trying to build muscle but lean out. But now just going 2 times a week and still hitting everything twice, I feel better. I've improved my progress. I don't have as much pain because I'm able to recover, so I never feel super sore and just in a constant state of always feeling sore. And it's just helped my body and my energy and no burnout and just all of that overall. And having started with that mindset of going in 6 times a week to really change how I look, now I do really focus on how I feel. And because I'm not going into the gym 6 times a week, I am able to work on other things such as yoga and just other stuff to really help my mobility and my body in other ways, which leads into the second thing that I wish I knew when I started, which is focusing on form and mobility. I occasionally take videos just to see my form. And back before gyms closed years and years and years ago, I posted a video of me doing squats, and I was able to put a good amount of weight for my size up on the bar, and I thought like, wow, look at me, I can do like these really heavy squats. And now I look back and I wouldn't even call it a squat. It was definitely not even too parallel, and I thought I was strong, but I was only strong in this like really short range of motion, not the full squat range of motion. And then when gyms closed and there wasn't really much to do, I did some workouts at home, but I really got into yoga, which really helped me just get more in tune with my body and body awareness, that mind-muscle connection and mobility, which is super important. By the time gyms reopened, I did have to start off a lot lighter since it had been a while, but I noticed that my form and mobility was so much better, and mobility leads into good form. So really focusing on that, and it doesn't have to be through yoga, you can do other mobility exercises as well, but doing that and then seeing my form and how low my squat can go. And even though I'm starting lighter because now it's a longer range of motion that I have to get my body used to, and down at the very bottom of a squat could not be putting up the same weight that I can just in the little baby squats that I was doing. So I did have to take a step back, which might feel like a little hit to your ego since you are so used to putting on so much weight, but maybe take a step back and really focus on form and mobility. And doing that and having that mind-muscle connection will make you feel better overall. You'll end up progressing more. So even if you take a step back, you'll end up taking 2 steps forward, and you'll feel so much better doing that as well. And your whole body will just feel better, and you won't feel as tight because you're actually moving and you're having the good range of motion that your joints should have. The third thing that I wish I knew was to not stick to the same routine and rep ranges over and over and over again. Back when I started, and this is also way before I studied for the personal trainer certification, I was either making my own routine with not a lot of experience or knowing about different rep ranges and progressive overload and all the different variables that you can change, or I would find a routine from somebody that I was following, I would buy their program and I would do it just over and over again, and it might not have been the best programmed thing because it was just people that I thought like, oh, she looks super fit, even though that program might not have been the best for me. And I would do that and I would find parts of it that I would like, and then I would basically like recreate it, just doing the parts of it that I liked, which very often tended to be higher weight and low to mid rep ranges, and I would get stuck in that for so long and then plateau. And if you have been plateauing and you aren't seeing any progress in the gym, definitely work on switching up your routine, even switching up different movements. I always keep the same general movements. I always do squats, deadlifts, some shoulder presses, some bench or dumbbell presses, but also switching up other movements that you might not be used to. Like if you never do lunges or single leg or like single side exercises, definitely incorporating some of those just to train your body in a new way, and switching up the rep ranges and just the way that you're programming your routines, and switching it up every 4 weeks, every 3 to 4 weeks, 6 at the longest, because that difference in your body, whether it's a different move or just a different rep range and it's requiring different muscles and different parts of your body to activate, will switch up and be something new, so your body will learn to progress and change. So it's definitely something that I wish I knew, because I definitely for probably a year just felt like I was in a plateau, and it's because I kept doing the same thing over and over again. For the last few weeks I've been doing a lot higher rep ranges, like 15, which 15 to 20 I usually never do, just because I kind of get bored of counting that high and doing the same exercise for that many reps in a row. But I switched it up for a few weeks and did that, and it was definitely a lot newer for my body, and I had to start off with the weights being a lot lighter since it's a lot of a higher rep range. But just after a few weeks of doing that, I have progressed, and it was just something new and unique for my body that I really enjoyed. And I wish I knew to switch it up and change up my programming a lot more often back at the beginning. The fourth thing that I wish I knew when I started is that you don't need all of the supplements in the world. I would go hard with not just the protein, and I was getting whey protein at the time, which I didn't realize my stomach just didn't like. So finding a protein that you like, one, because protein is important. I think a protein powder would be the only supplement that you definitely should include. And then over time, as you get more experience, incorporating some other supplements that may be beneficial. But especially if you're just starting, you don't need to spend all of the money on the BCAAs and the amino energies and all that other stuff out there, because I did that and I spent all the money on it thinking like, this is what's gonna help me improve and help me progress. And I was spending more time focusing on that and spending my money on that than my actual rest, my actual recovery, and what I was eating. And I was kind of like relying on these other supplements. So if you are especially getting started, just know that you don't need it. Get started, do what you can on your own first. And then after a few years, if you want to just incorporate something else, maybe a little bit of creatine as well, then you can begin to do so. But don't think that taking some supplement and spending all this money on it is going to be the answer that you're looking for. And last but not least, I wish I knew to stop comparing myself to others, especially those who at the time had been doing this for years and maybe had their own coaches and trainers and all of this experience, while I was just getting started and wondering why I don't look like them yet. Especially at the start, I was obsessed with all these like bikini competitors like Taylor Chamberlain, and I was doing everything that they were doing. They would post a video, then that was the workout I was doing, or I was incorporating it into the workout program that I was already doing, which is also why I was spending hours at the gym every single day. And I was doing whatever diets they were doing. Everybody at the time was doing If It Fits Your Macros. So I would find my macros and I would just do that because I thought that was the answer. I would try to find like the right calories to cut because I was in this constant state of thinking, well, I should just eat less so I can lean out and look like a bikini competitor. And it just doesn't work like that, especially with the If It Fits Your Macros. There was this whole thing of like, as long as it fits, you can eat it. So I was also eating a lot of junk, which isn't helpful, but in my head I was like, it kind of fits the macros, so whatever. But now I definitely know that nutrition and just eating better overall is super important, whether or not it fits in these arbitrary macros, which don't really matter, especially if you're not competing. But at the time, that was the mindset I was in, and I thought maybe I could one day compete, and it just wasn't a healthy mindset, and the comparison wasn't a healthy mindset, and it definitely led me into doing so much more than I needed to, and burning out and overworking my body and not resting and not fully recovering. And that also led to me just feeling burnt out and not feeling great and not being able to progress, because my body was just like always going, but I wasn't feeding it enough or feeding it what I should have been feeding it. So because of that, comparing myself to others and their journey and trying to do what they're doing definitely hindered my own journey. And now just realizing that everybody's body is built differently, reacts to things differently, and what somebody does might not work the exact same for you. So finding what does work for you, you can still take inspiration from others or learn from others, but don't just take in all of this stuff and think, if I do this, I will look like that, and then comparing yourself when that result never comes. And again, all of that did lead me to where I was today. It did get me really into fitness and health and nutrition, and led me into learning more and discovering more, which over time opened up my eyes, and I realized, oh, okay, like maybe that's not the best thing to do, but in a way, I am thankful that I went through that phase, because it did lead me to where I am today, which is just a much more balanced, relaxed, and healthier way to look at health and fitness. Not a great time, and I recommend that if you do find yourself comparing yourself to others, to stop doing that and focus on yourself and your own progress, because you'll also keep measuring yourself up to this ideal standard that you have, instead of looking at the progress that you have made and the changes that you have made with yourself, which in the end is much more important. Well, there you have it. Those are the 5 things that I wish I knew when I started my health and fitness journey. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below what you wish you knew and what else you want to see here on my channel. And while you're there, be sure to subscribe. I upload a new video every other Wednesday. So until the next one, thanks for watching.